why civil resistance work. Why civil resistance work. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, this is Fabrizio Bromano, aka the Kenya Revolutionary. I'm bringing you a video to analyze why civil resistance work. Now, today I know there's a Maandamano going on. So far, there's little casualties. The big news is the Mpwani bus that killed 14 people, the school bus that killed people, and condolences to all the family members that lost their loved ones. But the headlines today, what was supposed to be happening today, was the Maandamano led by Raila Amolo Odinga. I kept on saying this. Ruto should take this Maandamano very seriously, okay? And for one reason, and one reason alone. Before I get into it, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and subscribe, share, and comment. Let me know what you think, okay? Let's get into it. There's a research paper that was written by two ladies named Erica Chenoweth and Maria J. Stefan. They wrote this research and turned it into a book called Why Civil Resistance Work. This book highlights and compiles 100 years of the history of civil resistance and how regimes have been brought down through civil resistance. Just in case you're wondering what these ladies are, who are they? Eric Chenoweth is an assistant professor at Joseph Korbel School of International Studies at University of Denver, and is also an associate senior researcher at the Peace Research Institute of Oslo in Norway. Maria J. Stefan is a strategic planner with the U.S. Department of State. Also, she was formerly, she served as the director of policy and research at International Center on Nonviolent Conflict. Okay? These ladies, they wrote and compiled and gave statistics analysis of how society can galvanize, demonstrate, have a non-violent protest and civil disobedience, protests and boycotts that always results into the government capitulating or being brought down. They gave an example of Iran, Burma, the Philippines, and also what's going on in Israel. In fact, speaking of Israel, Ehud Barak highlighted this research in his speech when he was in England and to describe what's going on in Israel right now. For those of you who are following international politics, you know what's going on in Israel. Take a look at what Ehud Barak said about this, okay? Quick.
And we are not Polish, we are not Hungarian. We are not going to accept it. That doesn't fit into our basic values and our collective psyche. So it's a clash. There's a top-down regime change using the tools, the legal tools of democracy, facing a counter-revolution from bottom up. And we will win. I'm confident of it. Because I know our people, and we have even empirical evidence for this. Some 11 years ago, in two ladies, scholars, Chenoweth and Stefan, published in Columbia, research they made of hundreds of civil protests in the last over 100 years, from 1900 to 2006. And they found a common denominator, all these protests which succeeded, where they reached a level of 3.5% of the population, which ends up to be about 8% of the adult population, tenaciously and persistently keeping the protests, boycott, civil disobedience, and so on. At the end, the government either fall or capitulate. And this exactly, we already crossed this number within less than 3 months. So we are heading in the right direction. The publication called Why Civil Resistance Works.
Now that you've heard about Ehud Barak's speech, let's take it back to Kenya. What does it mean in Kenya. How does that work in Kenya? How is that applicable? According to that study, which is named Why Civil Resistance Work, you only need 3.5% of the population to bring down the government. Now, what's the population in Kenya? The population in Kenya as of now is roughly approximately 53.1 million people that live in Kenya. So 53.1 million, what is 3.5 of that? That's around 1,855,000 people needed to bring down the government. But here's the thing, the key word. In this resistance, there have to be people who have a clear reason why they're resisting. Okay? They have to be tenacious. They have to be consistent. Okay? And the civil society have to join the people. And even sometimes it takes the police and the army who usually end up joining the resistance if they have a clear goal. Now, let's take a look at this Azimio folks. Do they have a clear goal? Yes, they've highlighted their reasons, talking about the server, talking about the high cost of living, talking about the, I don't know what else. Okay? They don't have a definite goal. That's the problem. Number two, it seems to be, the perception is, this is a movement for Raila. Yes, they might be claiming that they are resisting the government or having civil disobedience because they want the price of cost of living to go down. Price of unga, for example. But if you listen to their leaders, they kind of seem to suggest that this is all about Raila. Take a look at this speech by the Nyanza people, the Nyanza leaders, elected officials. Listen to what they say, okay? And I'll be back.
Stole the election. Full stop. This mass action is going to continue until Raila Amolo Odinga says stop. Before Raila Amolo Odinga stops this mass action, it is going to continue, whether you like it or not.
The Luo nation, we have only one leader, and once he has pronounced himself on an issue, nobody else, until otherwise, can talk about reversing that decision.
There's mere leaders now.
You clearly saw these MPs, senators, governors from Nyanza province. They seem to be saying, evoking Raila's name in every speech. It's not about the people. Or if Raila says the Maandamanos must stop, then we stop. Other than that, nobody can say anything. Which they make it seem like it's all about Raila. They're not helping the cause. It's a clear indication that the whole Maandamano thing is centered around a personality. A personality, Raila Odinga. You cannot have a revolution if it's centered around a personality. It has to be about an idea. Okay? That is what helps Ruto in this situation. Now, I will not comment on what happens today because so far the day is not over yet. We are having different news. So far, Siaya UDA office has been burned down. Remember, yesterday, Anyang' Nyong'o advised people, the people of Kisumu, not to protest. Instead, go to Nairobi and protest. Then later on, he recanted that and wrote another declaration saying, okay, we can go ahead and support Raila Odinga. Again, Raila Odinga, our party leader, and so we shall protest. And there are protests going on in Kisumu with roadblocks, but so far I haven't had a lot of things. I'm still monitoring the situation. I will come back and give a review about the protest this Thursday. But the perception is that these protests, Azimio protest Maandamano, are limited to Raila's supporters' strongholds. in Nairobi, where there is Madare. Well, I understand today it wasn't Madare, it was in this place. I forgot what it was, something Imani something. I forgot. I'll come back with that. Kisumu, obviously. Migori, Siaya, okay? There's nothing that we've had in Coast. If you live in Coastal Province, Mombasa, please report. Post a picture, comment, tell me about it. I'll check it out. I haven't heard anything in Mombasa, Nakuru. Well, there's youth who are trying to go to Kenyatta's farm in, I think, Nakuru or Naivasha somewhere, but they were stopped. But if you have any information regarding protests that's happening in Mombasa, of course, I'm not expecting anything to happen in Eldoret. Maybe Nakuru, you know, Kakamega, Isiolo, Northeastern, all the other places that are not exactly outside of Nairobi and Kisumu and the Nyanza province, just let me know, okay? Anyway, I'll keep this video short. My whole point about this video is this. Yes, if Raila gets his protesters, his idea right, and don't make it as it is about him, he might have more supporters. But as it seems, the general perception is that this is all about Raila. So he will probably fail regardless of how much he keeps on going to the streets. But anyway, comment, share, like, and tell me what you think, all right? This is Fabrizio Bromano, aka the Kenya Revolutionary. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.